The man rolled down the car window and reached his hand out, wanting to know how deep he was buried. However, as soon as he extended his hand, the soil kept flowing into the car. The man had no choice but to close the window while enduring the damp soil. Fortunately, everything seemed fine, but just as he sat back, the car's sunroof shattered. He quickly supported it with his left hand and tried to stop the breakage with tape, but it was to no avail. Left with no other option, the man grabbed the steering wheel lock and placed it in the center of the sunroof, finally preventing it from shattering further. Overjoyed, the man picked up a bottle of mineral water and drank it all, only realizing near the end that it was the last water source in the car. However, desire ultimately triumphed over self-blame. Looking at the little remaining water, the man hesitated for a moment before drinking it all. After calming down, he prepared to start self-rescue. While taking inventory of all supplies, he suddenly noticed droplets of liquid on the sunroof. Despite the slightly yellowish color, the man still leaned forward and greedily sucked on them. He dug a small hole with a nail clipper and tried to enlarge it with his fingers. Taking out a credit card, he gently bent it to make a funnel, connected it to an empty mineral water bottle, and then placed the bottle on the steering wheel lock. With this, the man's drinking water problem was solved. Next, he disassembled an outdoor tent and took out a steel pipe. Carefully removing the water bottle, he further enlarged the hole and then pushed the pipe upwards. However, it seemed to hit a rock and couldn't be forced, even causing a stream of water to flow out. He quickly stuffed the hole with newspaper. For more effective exploration, he punctured the bottle cap, tied it tightly with a string, and then threaded it through a thin steel pipe to prevent foreign objects from flowing down the pipe. With everything ready, he pushed the pipe out, but the distance was insufficient. He could only connect 2 pipes with tape and continue pushing hard. As the distance increased, the friction became greater. Even using all his strength, he could only move a dozen centimeters. In desperation, he took out a jack, which saved him a lot of effort. But the jack had reached its limit. Left with no choice, he had to personally intervene again. He took a blanket, placed it on his back, and then pushed hard, finally succeeding in pushing it up. He looked along the pipe, but it was still pitch black. So he straightened a clothes hanger wire and poked it upward. A click was heard, as if a miracle had really happened. The man took a deep breath and prayed incessantly. Sure enough, looking along the pipe, there was a glimmer of sunlight. The man was overjoyed. He attached a straw and greedily took a few breaths of fresh air, then began shouting for help loudly. However, after shouting for a long time, there was no response. So he cut the rope with a nail clipper, took out newspaper and matches, and while shouting, burned the iron pipe after lighting the newspaper. He hoped someone would see the smoke drifting out and come to rescue him. However, starting a fire in a confined space was the fatal mistake he made.